Hi, my name is Linda DeCelles, and before we look at any works in our collection at the museum, I'm going to talk to you about the idea of abstraction. When an artist makes a work of art, if the objects in them appear real, they are called representational art. Some artists simplify, exaggerate, or distort objects, and when they do that, it's called abstraction. Let's compare two images of falcons. Here is a photograph of a peregrine falcon. This would be considered representational art because it's very realistic. It's from real life. This is a picture of a logo from the Atlanta Falcons football team. You can still tell that it's a falcon, but it doesn't look anything like the one from real life. There are enough images in the picture to look like a falcon that we know it's not a robin or a blue jay. So that image is abstracted. Many things you see in daily life are abstracted images. So look at logos or even the comics, and you can see that they don't look like real life, but they still look like people or flowers or trees that are being depicted. When a work of art does not have anything in it that we recognize from the real world, it is called non-objective. Non meaning not, and objective meaning about an object. So there are not any objects in the art. Between representational art and non-objective art, there is what we call a spectrum of abstraction. A spectrum is a range of values. When you were a toddler, you might have played with a toy that had cups nested inside one another. You could take those cups apart from each other and arrange them from the smallest to the largest. That would be a spectrum of toys by size. In a similar way, we can talk about a spectrum of artist styles, from those that are realistic through those that are more abstract to those that are non-objective. Let's look at a series of pictures by an artist named Roy Lichtenstein. In picture number 1, you see a black bull. We would call this representational because it looks like a bull from real life. This would be at the realistic end of the spectrum. Picture number 2, the bull is no longer black. The artist has altered the colors by showing parts of the bull that are exposed to more light in white and the parts that are in shadow in blue. In picture number 3, the artist has broken up the bull into different sections and then distorted the placement of color in each of those sections. We can still tell that this is a bull, but it is definitely not like a bull from real life. Look at picture number 4. Mr. Lichtenstein has made the bull much more rectangular. The tail is still somewhat realistic, but the rest of the body has been described mostly by straight lines and only a couple of curves. In picture number 5, the lines are more tilted and the tail has disappeared. In the final picture, number 6, yellow has filled one of the squares. There are mostly straight lines and only a couple of curves now. The curved line on the far right side could be the curve from the top of the animal's forehead down to his nose. And the 2 blocks of red below the curve might be the nostrils of the bull. So this is the most abstract image. If we had not followed the progress of each image from realistic to more and more abstract in the spectrum, we might call picture number 6 non-objective art. So we have this artist making each picture more abstract, less like real life. That is the spectrum of abstraction. Sometimes artists use abstraction to help define their personal voice. What is personal voice? Well, it helps to think about a singer. You might have a favorite singer, and when you hear them, you recognize them by the quality of their voice and the style of their singing. If you hear a new song by that singer, you might recognize right away who is singing it because you recognize their voice. Well, in art, we recognize an artist by their unique style. That is their personal voice. How an artist uses line, color, texture, and abstraction often shows his or her own personal voice, their unique style. After you've seen a few paintings or sculptures by the same artist, you might start to recognize when you see a new work of art that is by that particular artist. When you look at works of art in our collection, you should keep in mind this spectrum of abstraction. Is the work you're looking at representational? Is it abstract? If so, is it a little bit abstract, or is it very abstract? Or perhaps, is it not objective? Is there nothing there that is of the real world? Keep these things in mind when you look at the new pictures and sculptures we'll be showing you. Thanks for listening. Stay safe.